If it went all the way up to 19,000, I stood to make a killing on all the options I've been selling.
Come on, come on. Come on, baby, you can do it, come on. Yes! Baby, we're in a fucking roll! Yes! Didn't think we'd do it.
It's amazing. You've made back all the losses. Over $10 million.
What did I tell you? Oh, ye of little faith. You keep doubling up, and sooner or later, you're bound to win.
Hi, welcome to this video today, which is all about maximising profits on your trading account while keeping losses to a minimum, knowing when to increase bet size, how to do it correctly, and also how to come off periods of drawdown, i.e. how much risk exposure you should be taking, how to manage a drawdown. Now, in terms of loading up trades and increasing bet size, I want to discuss the concept of pyramiding, and I also want to discuss a simple trading technique which I'll refer to as the sparrow technique, which is highly effective in terms of maximising profits and keeping risk to a minimum. Now, in terms of the opening clip I've used on the way in, it's from Rogue Trader about Nick Leeson, and basically that clip just sums up to me the actual emotions at work when you're making money, the euphoria of it. Now, obviously, in that clip, he has doubled up when he's been in a losing position, and he's lucky he comes out ahead. Now, I've tried that, doubling up when I've been losing, and I made a lot of money when I did it, and nothing but beats that feeling of just sort of like, I've used the word getting out of jail. But obviously you shouldn't be doubling up when you're losing. You should be cutting bet size, and I'm going to come to that in a moment. But there is a time, I think, where you can double up trades, you can increase bet size, and if you do it correctly and at the right time, it can maximise your profit potential, and you can still keep risk to a minimum. And in terms of pyramiding, a lot of talk about pyramiding on the net. I see lots of videos where a guy will show a chart and he'll probably add that trade 4 or 5 times, and then eventually he'll come out with a whopping great profit. Now, my own view on that is be very sceptical about adding to a trade more than once, actually. Why? Because most trends have big volatility within them. Once you start pyramiding up, you have to bring your stop loss closer in on each pyramid, and the chances of a reaction back are greater. Most trends have high volatility when they get moving. You wouldn't get away, in my view, with pyramiding 3, 4 or 5 times. It's just ridiculous. These guys who pick those charts out are picking out ones in hindsight which do not happen very often. However, I do think you can add to a trade once it's got in motion, but I would only do it once. I'm going to give you the highest odds setup in my view. Okay, let's say you have a trading range with relatively low volatility, and then suddenly you have a breakout with high volatility, a big range day, you finish near the high. That is the time to add to the trade. Now, most traders will not do that. Why? Because they think they've missed too much of it. It's at a high at the close, let's say, and they want to get a pullback. If you look back statistically, when you see that happen, the chances of follow through are normally very, very good. So it allows you to assume the trade is going to follow through on the next trading session. Bring your stop up tight for protection. That is the only time that I would add to a trade in motion. Like I said before, once the trend gets moving, volatility increases within the trend, and you get stopped out if you load it up too many times. But that once, I think, is fine. And I'm going to look now at a technique which I think is more effective, and it's loading up the trade before you enter it. And I'm calling it sparrow technique because I read about it or got the idea from a guy called Mark Weinstein. And he always said he'd like to come in heavily. Once the trade went his way, he would take some of the trade straight off the table to restrict his risk back to his stop loss or leave him with a profit, and he would still be in the market. And he referred it to being like a sparrow, saying sparrows come to his bird table. They're so quick, they'll always get some bread off the table. And in this instance, in that way of trading, it is getting some money off the table straight away. So if you're expecting a high probability breakout, then by all means load up the bet size and then look to cover some as soon as the breakout occurs to cushion yourself. Bill Lippershut's another great trader, one of the greatest Forex traders, also said a similar sort of thing. If you are in a trade, moves to overbought, let's say in an uptrend, what do? Many strong trends will continue on, even if they're overbought. But obviously, the odds of a pullback increase as well. And his view was always just cut the trade in half and basically let the other half run. Like he said, you don't get the best, but you don't get the worst either eventuality. You get something in the middle, but that something in the middle absolutely restricts your risk, okay, your drawdown, and also helps you make profits. Okay, so I think in terms of bet size, there is a time to increase it, but you've got to be sort of sensible about the way you do it. Always keep your your eye on the risk and getting as much of that trend as you possibly can. And I think that sort of sparrow technique of taking half out, letting half run, great way of doing it. As I've said, just to conclude, if you want to load up on a trend in motion, I think it should only be done once. Now, in terms of drawdown, okay, we all hate them, but we know we're going to get them. You get that period where no trades seem to go right for you. What do? Well, my own view is you always want to keep drawdowns on a Forex account below 20%, okay? So what you need to do is you need to scale back if you're approaching that level and cut your bet size in half, So if you're risking, let's say 2%, cut it back to 1. When you start losing money, you reduce bet size, okay, until you come off the drawdown. Never be tempted, as most traders are, to keep a consistent bet size and keep going, or even worse, as we saw in the Nick Leeson clip, increase it. Traders are in too much of a hurry to get a drawdown back. They don't come back quickly. You shouldn't be trying to force profits from the market or be in a hurry. Take your time, reduce the amount of trades you take, and cut your bet size. Be very patient in the period of drawdown. You just want to get out of that period of drawdown. Sure, it's going to take a bit longer, but just be patient. You need to preserve equity. A lot of traders see this happen all the time. They fall down in their accounts by 50%. There's very little chance of coming back from 50% drawdown. You've got to make 100% to come back. It's a tall order. Keep those drawdowns below 20%. And also, as soon as you're in a drawdown and you are on a losing streak, you've got to cut that bet size back. Now, in terms of Forex trading, it's a known fact that if you want to win, really maximize your gains, you actually have to vary the size of your position. Okay, a static position size will never make you as much money as if you learn when to gear up and when to gear down. This is because Forex is an odds-based market, very similar to poker and blackjack. Okay, many of the world's great traders, I've said it in other videos, come from a background of poker and blackjack. The reason they make such great Forex traders is because they vary bet size. In those games, you'll never win if you kept a static bet size. You have to vary it. Forex is an odds-based market. Those are odds-based games of cards. So you need to know when to gear up and when to gear down. And just vary your bet size. I think, if you want to, add to a trade in motion, I'll give you one way of doing it, and it's a high odds way of doing it. But I really do like that sparrow technique of taking money off the table, always protecting your equity, still allow you good profit potential. And when you're in a drawdown period, just accept it. It's normal. Don't be in too much of a hurry to get it back too quickly. Take your time, get off the drawdown, get back to profit, then you can start gearing up those trades again. Thank you very much for watching me as per usual. Take care. Have a good day.